There are an innumerable amount of places on our vast landscape where one could go missing. One such immensity is that of the numerous forests which hide the happenings that occur within. Some of these forests account for missing people all around the world. Number 5. On the 17th of September 2016, a well-known hiker of the Yosemite National Park by the name of Peter Fancher Jackson from California had messaged his son back at home stating that he was en route to the Yosemite National Park, situated in California. On the 21st of September 2016, the fees for camping had been paid through, which, confirmed by the campground reservation, is the same date that Peter was expected to leave the campsite and return home. But Peter didn't contact his son again, nor did he make his way home. He's not been seen or heard from since. On the 26th of September 2016, Peter was reported missing by his son after he had not returned home or made any form of contact. Peter had been in the Yosemite National Park when he disappeared. It's believed that he ventured off for a daytime hike from his setup camp at the White Wolf Campground, which consisted of 74 available campsites. It's unknown of which direction he had traveled and the trail he took, resulting in his disappearance. He resided at campsite number 58, but according to other campers in the area who also occupied the White Wolf Campground, number 58 had appeared to be uninhabited for around 4 days. Peter had been known to go on long, arduous journeys, some of which were around the distance of 5 miles. Therefore, it was assumed that he'd been on a lengthy walk. The White Wolf Campground is situated a mile off of Tioga Road, situated between Tuolumne Meadows and Crane Flat. The camping site is an hour's drive, about 8,000 feet or 2,400 meters from the Yosemite Valley. The trails from the designated camp which Peter stayed at lead to Lukens Lake and Hardin Lake. Additionally, there are no visitor services near the camp. It's not been specified in any of the reports whether the surrounding lakes or rivers near the White Wolf Campground have been searched for Peter. The Yosemite National Park, which is situated in California, measures 748,542 acres, or 1,169 square miles. 94% of the whole park is appointed wilderness, where one may find themselves easily lost. The park is also famous for its large sequoia trees. There are 800 miles of assigned trails used for hiking. This park in particular is known as the third park with the most missing people per year, which is estimated to be around 233 people. The national park is attached to other national forests in the area, including the Plumas National Forest, El Dorado National Forest, and the Tahoe National Forest, which all travel northwards from the Yosemite National Park. Sierra National Forest, Inyo National Forest, and Sequoia National Forest all lie south of the park, all of which Peter may have ended up in, and any sightings in these parks may be possible and should be reported to the correct authorities or the Yosemite National Park security. Another popular trail within the national park is the White Wolf to Pate Valley Trail, which begins at Hardin Lake and measures a lengthy distance of 12.5 miles. This trail can take up to 3 hours and 42 minutes to finish, and ventures in a southeasterly direction. It can only be speculated that Peter had taken this route and had gotten lost somewhere within, accounting for the 4 days that his site was left unoccupied. But this theory was later ruled out because of where Peter's backpack was found. Peter was equipped with a royal blue outdoor products backpack, and this was later found on the west side of the park in the Aspen Valley or Ackerson Meadow area in August of 2019, which was also thoroughly searched thereafter. It's not been specified as to what condition the bag was in, or if any of his belongings had been found inside the bag. There's been no further description of what other gear Peter may have carried, nor what he might have been wearing. It was stated that a ground and air search was carried out by authorities and the Yosemite National Park, but to no avail. No clues or sightings arose following the disappearance, and Peter's vehicle was also left at the campgrounds, and there were no indications of his whereabouts there either. There's been no mention if Peter carried his wallet and keys with him, or if those items were left in the car while he went to get settled in on the campground. Peter Fancher Jackson was 74 years old at the time of his disappearance. He was described as a beloved family member and well known in the hiking community. He's said to have been in perfect physical condition, and he stood 5 foot 10 inches tall and weighed 155 pounds, a slim build at the time of his disappearance. Peter had blue eyes, graying hair, and a gray beard, and no known medical conditions or ailments, and was perfectly able. On the 2nd of October in 2016, the search for Peter was put in continuous limited mode. This meant that ground, water, and air searches would no longer be carried out, but would continue through reported sightings and new information that may arise. The Yosemite National Park stated that active field searching would be ceased and any reports or developments would be thoroughly investigated. Unfortunately, no dental records belonging to Peter have materialized. This would certainly make it far more difficult to identify any remains that are lost within the forest. It's noted that some reports had come in where people claimed to have seen Peter at the camping grounds, but it's unknown if anything has come from these reports. It was also suggested that Peter's cell phone should be pinged, but due to the lack of reception, this attempt would prove pointless. A picture and description of Peter has been posted on the Yosemite National Park Facebook page, detailing the events leading up to his disappearance. The page provides regular updates in the comment section. Peter Jackson's case remains unsolved. He would be the age of 85 years old today. More images of the missing man can be found on the NamUs website. Any information found on Peter Fancher Jackson, or sightings that may occur with the case number MP37904, should be sent to yosemite.search.rescue@gmail.com. A tip line is also available at 888-653-0009. Additionally, the Yosemite National Park Service should be contacted at 209-379-1926 during business hours or 209-379-1992 after hours, should you come across any helpful information regarding Peter Jackson's whereabouts. Number 4. Nature reserves and forests are an easy place to become lost, especially if one is unfamiliar with the immediate area and confusing trails. These great national parks are equipped with many connected routes that seemingly lead to nowhere or can take you in circles. The disappearance of one such case is that of Kaylene Gallegos. On Tuesday, May 25, 2010, Kaylene Marie Gallegos, or Gallegos, a young Hispanic woman, was reported missing to the Navajo County Sheriff's Office. The exact circumstances surrounding her disappearance remain unclear, and the situation is suspicious according to authorities. She went missing from Show Low, Arizona, from the White Mountain Apache Forest. This is a secluded region in the United States which became a focal point of the search for the young woman, who was last accounted for within the dense forest of the Apache Forest. She was reportedly last seen by her father on May 20th, 2010, at her father's accommodation in Lakeside, Arizona. Kaylene had said that she would be going to the Phoenix, Arizona area. She was said to have gotten into a car accompanied by 2 men. It was reported that they'd been on their way to the Arizona area using State Route 87. In Phoenix, one of the men who Kaylene was seen getting into the vehicle with had left, and another woman, 19-year-old Jennifer Pettit, joined the group. From Phoenix, on the journey back to the Show Low area, the 3 acquaintances had gotten lost after taking a wrong turn. One of the men who Kaylene had been with was interviewed by authorities. The man was known as Jacob Mata, who was 20 years old at the time, and told them that on the 21st of May in 2010, they had been on their way to Show Low on State Route 87 together, but had found themselves off the designated course on a Forest Service road in the White Mountain Apache Forest. He stated that this is where the accompanying woman, Jennifer Pettit, decided to continue on the road by herself and took the car that they had been traveling in, leaving Kaylene and Jacob in the forest. It was not made clear as to who owned the car when this occurred. While Jennifer set off in search of a way out or a familiar road, Kaylene and Jacob found themselves in a protected opening where they had prepared a fire to keep warm throughout the night and continued to find an escape route in the morning. The search of a way out would prove incredibly difficult due to the immensity of the forest and confusing trails within. The Apache Forest had been combined with the Sitgreaves Forest in 1974, calculating at 2 million acres in total. The entirety of the forest surrounds the White Mountains and forms along the Mogollon Rim. The trail system which interconnects is made up of 200 miles. The Apache Railroad Trail is said to be about 30.7 kilometers, a 6-hour journey. The Grouse Track has an estimate of a 2-hour completion of 7.2 kilometers. Land of Pioneers runs a lengthy 14.5 kilometers, tracking 3 hours and 27 minutes, A 7.7-kilometer trail known as West Fork Black River is a minimum of 2 hours, and the Government Springs 95A trail measures 9.2 kilometers, which means Kaylene could have been anywhere along any of these trails. On Saturday morning, the 22nd of May, 2010, the two had begun walking, 15 to 30 yards away from one another, and entered into a canyon, which they both began to climb. It's claimed that Kaylene stopped climbing and waited at the bottom. A bit after 1 p.m., Jacob managed to reach the top and found a road. He had called down to his friend and she responded, but after that, Jacob didn't hear nor see her again. He stated that after a while of searching, he continued to navigate his way out of the forest, leaving Kaylene behind. He found himself on Globe Highway sometime after dark. According to Jacob, 3 cars had passed by. He stopped them to ask for food, water, and directions. He also made mention to the third driver that his friend Kaylene was lost in the forest. A week after the disappearance, authorities wanted Jacob to show them the area where Kaylene had disappeared, but he couldn't remember where it was, and understandably so due to the amount of connected trails. It'd be difficult to decipher which route was taken by the two and exactly which ridge he had climbed. Although Jacob Mata has been imprisoned for an unrelated matter, he's said to not be a suspect in the case of Kaylene's disappearance. It also remains unclear or unreported if Jennifer Pettit ever returned to the forest with the car. Kaylene is said to have disappeared under mysterious circumstances. One theory claimed that she had most likely tried to find another way to climb the ridge and from there vanished. Jacob Mata later clarified that he was not a resident of the Phoenix area, but was actually from Show Low. He also specified that he and Kaylene were not a couple at the time that she went missing, and they were only traveling together. It wasn't clarified as to what Kaylene's relationship with the other two acquaintances had been. The Navajo County Sheriff's Office, as well as the White Mountain Apache Tribal Game and Fish Commission, have been in search of Kaylene. It was reported that the section of the forest where she was last seen had not been adequately searched, and another hunt was carried out. No new leads have come to the surface over the years regarding Kaylene's location or the circumstances under which she disappeared. Kaylene Marie Gallegos was 21 years old when she vanished and would now be 34. Born on the 7th of August in 1988. She was officially last seen on the 22nd of May 2010 in the area of Walnut Canyon and Hop Canyon on the White Mountain Apache Reservation. She's said to be between the height of 5 foot and 5'3" and weighed 120 pounds. She was last seen wearing a gray tank top, a light brown sweater, and some accounts claim that she wore a brown jacket over her shirt. She wore dark blue jeans and flip-flops. Kaylene has brown straight hair which was long at the time of her disappearance, and brown eyes. It's not been disclosed if there are any dental records belonging to Kaylene in the database. According to reports, it's not specified whether she had any visible birthmarks, tattoos, scars, or piercings at the time she went missing, which would make her more easily identifiable. Images of the young missing woman are available on the National Missing and Unidentified Persons System website, along with a basic description of her disappearance and circumstances under which she vanished. If you have any information regarding her, you're asked to contact the Navajo County Sheriff's Office at 928-524-4050, quoting case number MP9262. Number 3. The season of fall seemed to be a great time to go camping deep within the woods, where temperatures dropped to 82 degrees Fahrenheit, a comfortable level to enjoy the scenery and swim in the lakes. One such person decided on a friendly camping trip, Paul Head, who lived in Fresno, California. Paul Matthew Head was last seen on September 8th in the year of 1999 at a family member's house in Fresno, Northern California. Paul had stated that he would be camping along with a friend who reportedly he had known for only a short time in the Sierra National Forest near Dinky Lake. He left his family's place in the evening hours, supposedly giving them a designated date on when to expect his return. But when Paul didn't return as scheduled, his family reported the man missing to authorities. The Sierra National Forest measures approximately 2,030 square miles, which means about 1.3 million acres, with rocky elevations ranging from 900 to 13,000 feet. The terrain within the forest includes oak foothills, densely forested areas in the middle section, and a tundra terrain in the High Sierra. Dinky Creek, which runs 29.2 miles long, is situated near Bear Mountain as shown on the map of the National Forest. It was not specified in which area Paul and his companion had set up camp. However, based on the reported story, it's believed to have been around the region of Bear Mountain and Dinky Lake. The closest campground in the area of the creek is the Upper Dinky Creek Campground, one of the connecting trails which takes you past the Dinky Stream all the way to the first Dinky Lake is the Dinky Lakes Trailhead. Another connecting trail, the Cow Creek Quarry to Upper Dinky Creek, tracks at 5.15 kilometers. At a point in this trail, Rock Creek Road connects. The Shaver Lake Trail, which is 33.8 kilometers in length, also connects to the Dinky Creek area. The friend that accompanied Paul stated that both of them went to sleep on the 10th of September in 1999 within the forest. He was later awoken by Paul, who had been shouting. He decided to leave the tent after being frightened and slept in a sleeping bag about 75 yards away from the main tent. He had also made mention that Paul left the campsite wearing no shoes, running into the woods near Dinky Creek. It was stated that Paul had camped in the area before, so he had the place well mapped. The trails which connect to the area they were staying in could all be possible routes which Paul took during the course of the night, ultimately leading to his disappearance. The following morning, on the 11th of September, 1999, the acquaintance had found that Paul did not return and decided to hike a short distance in the surrounding area in search of Paul, but couldn't find him. He returned to the tent again and waited a short while in case Paul came back, before leaving the forest and contacting authorities. A thorough air investigation was carried out. A ground search was done, and so was an underwater hunt of the nearby lake. An aerial search had also been carried out in search of the missing man, but searches all proved futile. No clear evidence was unearthed as to where Paul could have ended up. There were no indications that Paul was in the area, nor were there any signs that he took any of the trails leading from the area. Nothing had been ruled out by those investigating the disappearance of Paul. No evidence revealed foul play or even any form of injury. And no suspects were identified either. And Paul Head's case remained in limbo without any clear evidence. Paul had been working at the Big Sky Cafe as a breakfast chef, and was described by those who worked with him as a pleasant individual with an even temper, and he was said to be rather knowledgeable. Despite thorough searches and investigations, Paul's case is left without resolution, and his family is waiting for answers. It's not been clarified if Paul had any known medical conditions or ailments. His condition remains unknown to the public. None of Paul's items were found within the forest aside from his belongings, which were at the tent that he'd been staying in. No mention has been made if he had any tattoos, piercings, birthmarks, or otherwise, and the disappearance of Paul still affects the community, his family, and any other parties involved. It's been 24 years since he vanished into the woods. Paul Head was 32 years old when he vanished. He would now be the age of 56 and is detailed as a Caucasian male at a weight of between 210 and 215 pounds, with a height of 6'3". He has dark blonde hair and blue eyes. He's said to have been wearing a gray sweatshirt and shorts, a leather bead necklace, and no shoes when he left the campsite. It's not specified whether Paul left the campsite with his wallet or his identification. Paul remains a missing person. He's classified as an endangered missing person, with he nor his body ever being located. There are unfortunately no dental records, fingerprints, or DNA in the database available belonging to Paul. Paul's case has also been featured and detailed on the Private Investigations for Missing Persons Facebook page, along with an image of him. Authorities are uncertain if Paul may go by other nicknames or aliases. There's since been no developments or additional clues surfacing which relate to the disappearance of Paul. Active searches have been ceased, and the investigation will carry out through reported sightings and anything that becomes unearthed. There's no information available that discloses if Paul's vehicle remained at the grounds or other notable, helpful descriptors of Paul's history. If you think you may have seen Paul within the forest in 1999, you're asked to report it to the correct authorities. Additionally, if you have any other noteworthy information concerning the case of Paul, you're asked to contact the Fresno County Sheriff's Office at 559-488-3111 or the Fresno County Sheriff's Department at 559-488-3843 with the case number 9921845. Number 2. Lacey Marie Buenfil, who was 25, a mother of 3, resided in Altoona, Florida, where she had recently gotten a new job. She was last seen on Christmas Eve, and after that, authorities were contacted when she failed to get in touch with the father of her children, or anyone else. Lacey had been traveling with a companion by the name of Terry Kenneth McDowell, who was 51 at the time of the incident, when she suddenly vanished in the Ocala Forest area. Lacey was described as someone who would often spend weeks at a time in different areas, drifting from place to place, but would never do so without contacting her family or friends. On December 27, 2011, both Terry and Lacey were seen at the Citgo fuel station, situated at the corner of Highway 19 and CR 42 Altoona. They had been captured on the gas station store's CCTV camera. It was speculated that after this, they'd gotten into Terry's black pickup truck and continued with their journey. The two friends had been driving on Railroad Grade Road in the Big Scrub area of the Ocala National Forest when the vehicle had become stuck in the dirt, with this occurring at around 3 p.m. The road they were on could lead to Camp Ocala in the forest. As told by Terry, the two were uncertain on what to do next, and when they were unable to free the truck from the dirt, Lacey decided that she would walk in search of help. She said to have traveled south, and this was the last time Terry had been seen or heard from. The Ocala National Forest measures at around 387,000 acres. It's said to protect the world's largest continuous sand pine scrub forest. The road which Terry was left on was within the borders of the national forest and was not a far distance from the reported Citgo gas station, where both Terry and Lacey were seen. Lacey was never heard from or seen again after she left Terry on Grade Road. Authorities were notified of her disappearance and instituted bloodhounds to track her scent. The dogs managed to trace the smell to Highway 19, which connected to Railroad Grade Road. It's unspecified where exactly the hounds had stopped on Highway 19 and lost the trail, but it's speculated that Lacey had either been picked up somewhere along this road or vanished into the vast amount of forest. Although it's not specified on which section of the road they stopped, the Ocala National Forest Florida Trail also connected to Railroad Grade Road with a length of 107.9 kilometers. This presents the possibility that Lacey, traveling south, may have taken this trail in search of help. Lacey disappeared under suspicious circumstances. It was stated that she always kept in contact with her children even when she traveled. It's speculated that foul play may have been present in the case, which still remains unsolved. The search for Lacey continues throughout the community in the form of billboards with Lacey's picture and description on them. Lacey Marie Buenfil was described as having brown blonde long hair and hazel eyes. At the time of her disappearance, she weighed 90 pounds and measured between 5 foot and 5'1". Lacey had both of her ears pierced as well as her tongue. There's a scar on her right thigh and her abdomen. Lacey also has a dimple on her left cheek. She was last seen wearing blue jeans and a pink shirt. Her wallet had been found during one of the searches, and in her possession, she carried an unknown cell phone and a set of keys. A Facebook page has been dedicated to the search for Lacey, titled "Where is Lacey Marie Buenfil?", which details her description and any updates on the pending case. The case has seen 3 main detectives working together to solve the case of Lacey's disappearance. Detective Zachary Hughes, who works with the Marion County Sheriff's Office, along with Bud Hart and Dennis Boodle from the Lake County Department. Detective Conley of the LCSO was quoted saying the following, quote, "She vanished, she disappeared, and we've searched hundreds of acres." Unfortunately, Terry McDowell had passed away, and along with him, any additional clues that he may have only recalled later. It was also later reported that there may have been more people involved with Lacey's case than initially thought, but it remains clear as to who they may have been. The investigators stated that they'd searched thoroughly through the woods and dove the rivers and lakes, but they came up empty-handed, but stated that they refused to give up. She was described as being a kind-hearted individual and an incredible mother. Lacey was said to be a loving, sympathetic, and caring person. Corey Singletary was quoted in an interview saying, "I just absolutely fell in love with her. We spent the better part of 10 years together. She was my absolute best friend in the world." It was Corey who had reported Lacey missing to the authorities on the 21st of December in 2011. It was also stated that Lacey may have gone by the alias of Lacey Lynn Lovett. She would now be the age of 37. More images of Lacey are present on the missing person directory page. It's also declared that a substantial reward will be offered in relation to Lacey's case. Lacey was and still is a beloved mother of the Altoona, Florida community. The search and investigation of her case has not ceased. However, no new information has surfaced, but this has not stopped those involved with her case from looking for answers to the mysterious disappearance. Should you come across any additional information on Lacey's whereabouts, or perhaps seen her in 2011, you're asked to contact the Lake County Sheriff's Office at 352-343-9529 or 352-343-9500 with the LCSO case number 1101-88373 or MP 13822. Alternatively, any tips can be reported to coldcase@lcso.org or anonymously reported to Crime Line at 800-423-8477. Number 1. Craig Delroy Barnett lived in Idaho. He left his home in July of 2019 to proceed on a camping adventure, but didn't tell anyone where he would be going. But he never returned from his trip. Craig had left with his 1977 Ford F-150 pickup truck, which was a teal color with the number plate 1BX0162. He was last seen on the 25th of July in 2019. In the middle of August 2019, 3 weeks after the reported disappearance, Craig's truck had been found. A rancher had been guiding his cows through some fir and aspen trees in the Sawtooth National Forest when he came across the teal truck. This had been in a clearing of the trees east of Road 232 and north of Lava Spring. Unfortunately, there was no indication of Craig in or around the truck, and the search of the surrounding areas were fruitless. The Sawtooth National Forest consists of 2.1 million acres where Craig's truck was found, which is a large expanse to search. Craig's known favorite camping grounds were the Couch Summit, Twin Falls, sometimes referred to as South Hills, Big Smoky, Pine and Sun Valley. These areas have been thoroughly searched, but no evidence has surfaced. It's also not evident if Craig took any of the trails from the location where his truck had been found to any of his favorite regions in the area. In addition, it's not been reported if Craig's wallet or cell phone were found in the vehicle. It's unclear if he's equipped with his identification. He's not told anyone which camping site he would be going to, and his family reported that he was most likely wearing a camouflage outfit, which may make it more difficult to spot him in the wilderness. To put into perspective the immense amount of possible locations where Craig might be found, the following trails are listed with their distances. The trails surrounding Twin Falls are as follows: Perrine Coulee Trail, 3.2 kilometers, Pillar Falls Trail, 1.6 kilometers, Monginson Trail, 3.5 kilometers, Snake River Canyon Rim Trail, 19 kilometers, the Big Smoky Trail north of the Big Smoky Guard Station at Canyon Transfer Camp measures 17.4 miles in length. The Sun Valley area holds the Trail Creek Cabin Grounds, which systematically features Coral Creek Trail, Aspen Loop, and Proctor Mountain Trail. The Aspen Loop and Proctor Mountain Trails cross over the Sun Valley area. The Sun Valley Road is a 4-mile distance from Trail Creek Trailhead. Craig was 48 years old at the time of the incident and would now be the age of 52. He's detailed as a Caucasian male and is said to have blonde or strawberry-colored hair and hazel eyes. His weight at the time was 180 pounds with a height of 5'7". Notably, there's a tattoo of a wizard on his right thigh and a mole on the right side of his cheek. He's also described as an outdoor man who enjoyed camping, but did not often inform his family as to where he would be camping or hiking to. No clues or sightings of Craig have since come to light. It remains unclarified if an aerial search was carried out or if any underwater investigations were done in nearby lakes in the proposed areas. Information on Craig has been posted to the Idaho Cold Cases Facebook page, as well as the Missing Person Cases Network Facebook page. He's also listed on the Idaho Missing Person Clearinghouse website. Not much information is available on the circumstances leading up to Craig's disappearance, as he'd been traveling alone and was not reportedly sighted by other hikers or campers. He was born on the 7th of February, 1971. If you have any information on Craig Delroy Barnett, you're asked to contact the Jerome Police Department at 208-324-4328, quoting case number MP 69769. If you find yourself camping or hiking, be sure to notify your family and friends about where you're going and what trails you might take. You should also carry enough water with you in case you find yourself off track. Additionally, there are some applications available to install that allows for family members or friends to track where you are from your cell phone. This might be a necessary decision to make in case you get lost in the forest. It would also be wise to ask the park board for a map before going hiking. If you find yourself unintentionally lost in the woods, try to leave as much of your scent as possible so that dogs may be able to track you in the future if you do get lost. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked this video, be sure to hit that like button. Also, don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell to keep up to date with all of our future uploads. But my name is Ty Knotts, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.